We are now done with the streamer segment of the channel, at least for 2020. I'm going to run down through the 5 options that you have to stream in your living room based upon what your use case is. First use case, if you are barely streaming, if the things that you are attracted to are Netflix and HBO Max, you can pretty much just use your television. It is as simple as that. Those 2 services are included in pretty much every single streaming service that I have seen and streaming device that I have seen. And for the most part, you're not going to have a horrible experience. LG's WebOS actually is a pretty competent product. They do seem to update it pretty regularly. And on the television behind me, the LG CX, check out my other reviews, I actually felt that the experience was pretty good, pretty comparable to what I would experience with a Roku. So good on LG. Samsung, I have some reservations though. If you have a Samsung TV and you are just doing Netflix and HBO Max, you might be able to get by, but just be warned. Samsung has a history of not updating in time and has a history of broken applications inside of their Tizen operating system for their televisions. That could come to bear if Netflix or HBO or any of the other companies that you are looking to stream from update their service and Tizen takes a long time to update their app. Moving on to option number 2, the one that I didn't even review simply because I don't believe in that product, and that would be the Fire TV. Now don't get me wrong, I spend a whole heck of a lot of money on Amazon products. I am involved with Prime, I have Prime Video, and I do my fair share of buying on the website. However, to me, the Fire TV is just one step too far. It is a completely dedicated streaming device for the Android ecosystem, one in which I'm not that heavily invested in. Additionally, there are advertisements galore throughout their entire interface. The applications are a bit cumbersome and sometimes difficult to obtain. You're completely dependent upon Amazon in order to make things updated and have things actually show up in a timely fashion. And it doesn't enjoy such a wide support as several of the other streaming platforms. For all of these reasons, I just won't use a Fire TV, much less the fact that to me they've all been slow and kind of painful to use, slower than my Roku, slower than some of the other options that are out there. And at this day and age, that's just inexcusable. So for me, your second option of a Fire TV, just write it off completely. Your third option is the one that I took a little bit of pain in making a recommendation to buy, simply because I go against my motto of I hate advertisements. But the fact is, Roku has been around for a long time. They have a great channel lineup. They are an open platform and willing to play with numerous partners, and you can even get a TCL television with Roku built into it as the main operating system. Roku really has come a long way, even if you can't notice it in their user interface. A large range of devices and price points basically mean Roku is a competitor in this space for any kind of use case that you actually may have. And because of that, it's difficult to say don't buy this just because the advertisements. Works well with Android, works well with iOS, works well with pretty much any television or input that you need and any streaming service. It truly is an open platform. That brings us to the Nvidia Shield. Not the Android TV, but the specific Nvidia Shield here. Nvidia has invested a lot of money and a lot of research into making sure that this experience is more polished than what you will find on other Android TV devices. And because of that, you get some exclusives like Prime Video. If you are a gamer and you have an Nvidia GPU and you want to play that content inside of your living room and play with friends or play with anybody in the living room or on a larger television, if yes, get the Nvidia Shield. The technology works very well. If you're a little bit curious about cloud streaming technology, that's on there as well. If you are heavily invested in the Android ecosystem and are willing to put up with a little bit of a science fair project, then the Android Shield is a great streaming device for you. For the most part, the channels that you are going to want are going to be there, and if they are not, you can actually sideload most of them. I'm looking at you, Disney Junior. Give my kids Paw Patrol. I'm tired of hearing about it. Lastly, No list is going to be complete without the Apple TV, specifically the 4K model that is out now. They have actually improved their remote. Believe it or not, they consider the current remote an improvement on the previous generation. If you know of a great Apple TV remote alternative, please like or comment below so that we can share the love and get away from that god-awful remote. Otherwise, this is a fantastic product. If you are invested in the iOS ecosystem, if you have the watch, if you have an iPhone, you can get around this troublesome remote issue and get arguably the best streaming experience overall. Every media service eventually will find their way to the Apple television. Even if it starts on somewhere like Roku for a trial, eventually those do find their way to the iOS and tvOS ecosystems. Apple has included a lot of their own applications here, so again, if you are invested in that iOS ecosystem, this is still a good play for you. Lastly, the screensavers, the UI, the constant improvements that Apple is devoting to tvOS make it a solid, well-rounded experience overall, one that you will continue to enjoy time and time again. So ultimately, depending upon your use case, you should be able to find a streaming device that will meet your needs. Everything from a Roku to an Android TV to an Apple TV, or potentially even your own existing television. Stay away from the Fire TV. I'm the Grain Tech. If you've enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing, and I hope you have a wonderful day.